Hi, I'm Tom Welgum, and we are in the ASUG News Studio, live here at SAP TechEd and Decode. And we are sponsored by NTT Data. So glad to have Charles King in the studio. We're going to be talking a lot about SAP HANA today, and how SAP is kind of marketing, how SAP is positioning HANA. Charles, you all probably will know, is with Pund IT, and he's been a long-time observer of this enterprise software IT world and has a lot of great things to share. So Charles, welcome to the studio.
Thanks, it's great to be here.
So you were in the keynote yesterday morning with Bjorn Gerke, and you heard a lot about HANA. That was about an hour and a half of HANA. As you were sitting there, as someone who's really watched tech vendors over the years, what were you thinking about how SAP is now positioning HANA to their customer base?
Well, I was struck by how HANA has become such an essential part of many businesses' core infrastructure, that the discussion has been shifting from technology to the business value of HANA. I think that came through very clearly in the keynote yesterday and in most of the meetings that I've had during the course of the week here.
You're hearing that from SAP executives, is that what you're saying as well?
Excuse me?
You're hearing that from SAP executives, that they're really going after that?
Executives and customers as well.
So how would you kind of take that to a customer who's evaluating HANA right now? When they're saying, hey, I'm looking at it, what's your advice to them to be? What do they need to really be thinking about? Because, like you said, it is going to be running core businesses, core parts of the businesses going forward. What would you say to them?
Well, I think the natural inclination among customers is to focus on the original business use case for HANA and business warehouse.
Sure.
And in fact, many initial implementations are in that area. But the use cases for HANA are broadening considerably. Obviously, SAP is pitching HANA as a platform for its own entire business portfolio. We're seeing HANA being pitched as a cloud, both for private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud environments. SAP also has a really interesting set of new use cases, emerging use cases, that is posted on its own company website that are looking at for many customers.
Absolutely, they're really growing that. I wonder too, if in your opinion, that as HANA becomes almost a Swiss Army knife for many companies, I mean, what can it do? Is that also run a risk for SAP in that they don't really have if customers don't, they see they can do everything. Well, if you can do everything with something, it may be hard to actually figure out what you actually want to do with it. Do you see that as a risk? Yeah,
I think that any time that a vendor begins talking about a subject that customers feel that they're familiar with, but begins discussing it in an essentially new way, that you run the risk of customers assuming that they know everything that they need to know about a subject or about a product, when additional study is really required. I do think it's going to be extremely important for SAP to expand and extend the kind of educational efforts that they're making with their customers and partners for HANA to really reach its full potential.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's a core point that our ASUG survey that we did on HANA adoption really bared out. I want to ask about, there's been lots of announcements. I know you've been briefed by SAP executives. Was there one announcement this week? Did anything jump out at you in terms of, because frankly, a lot of the announcements were technical in, SPS09, multi-tenancy. We had all kinds of interesting. Was there an announcement or a thing that you said, well, this is actually important, I would want SAP customers to know that?
I think two announcements in particular. The announcement related to HANA basically being available for experimentation for free in the cloud.
Yep.
Helping customers get up and running that way, getting them experimenting with HANA,
sure,
doing it in a non-threatening, inexpensive way, really makes great sense to me. The other thing I think is that SAP has done a terrific job of focusing on simplifying HANA, both deploying the initial instances and then maintaining and managing HANA over the long term. that message of simplification and the investments that the company is making in making HANA easier to use and more seamless to use for businesses, I think is critical.
Charles, that's a great point. Great way to end it. Thank you for coming into the studio. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
For more customer stories and information on SAP TechEd and Decode, please go to asognews.com.